For those of you who are interested, you can follow me at Karampelas on Twitter, and you'll have all the Twitter handles at the end of it, or at Gatepath and at AbilityPath. So about AbilityPath and Community Gatepath. Who are we? What do we do? How did we start into this arena? AbilityPath is the online channel and online footprint for Community Gatepath, which is a local nonprofit serving people, children and adults with disabilities. We have been in the Bay Area for over 90 years, and we were looking at a way to grow our footprint, grow our reach. We looked at AbilityPath and created that, and now we're national with over 32,000 people following us. So we started with about 8,000, and we, in 18 months, grew to 32,000. In what I think is the badge of honor that we wear with pride is this last year we were awarded About.com's favorite online special needs community. And why it's such a badge of honor is it wasn't us pontificating about how wonderful we were. It was us engaging our users saying, hey, if we've done anything for you this year, About.com, we're a finalist on About.com. Let them know, vote for us. And it was just a pure user-generated voting mechanism, and we were able to secure that spot as the top online special needs community. So very important, it's a validating kind of role. So why the heck, as a nonprofit, did we jump in to this arena and invest in a social media platform that some would argue is very similar to Facebook? It has groups, it has forums, it has content that they can share. Well, we did it for a couple of reasons. We're in the people business, and it was quick. Although we launched about 2 years ago, we have been in the planning and concept phase since about 2007. So if anybody's familiar with the timeline of our former friends that were down the street, Facebook was just branching out of the college campuses around that same time. The difference between us and Facebook, slightly deeper pockets. Okay, I'll go more to slightly, lot deeper pockets, and we didn't have the beauty of having a bunch of hackers. So it was someone and a CEO that's a big visionary saying, okay, I think we could figure out how to do this, and I'm tremendously thankful that we did. We wanted to bring our services, which is OT, occupational therapy, physical therapy, and special education services to children, and employment services for adults with special needs, from brick and mortar to what I call click and mortar. We wanted to add a click and mortar service to our offering. We also knew that there was a Pew Research done right around that initial time when we were discovering it, that people were going online and we all have probably been guilty of it. We go to the doctor, we have something, what does spots on the arm mean? And we go to a search engine, we put it up. At the time, we were using WebMD as our benchmark because that was the site at the time, and we were looking at seeing how that was done, and we were seeing that the trends of our younger families were all going online. So we knew we had to extend into technology and build social connections for our group. We also heard for our families that, great, there's babycenter.com, there's parenting.com and parents.com, but when you're a parent of a child with special needs and your child isn't walking and they aren't talking and they aren't doing things that everybody on parenting.com is talking about and bragging about their child doing, you're isolated, you're alone. You may not have even told your parents that your child has a delay yet. And so they just didn't have a community that they could connect to and that they can link to. And interestingly enough, we continue to ask the question in our strategy meetings, do we dump this investment and just put everything on Facebook? And every advisor has said, don't do that just yet. Why? There's a couple of business reasons, but more importantly, we asked our users, and our users said, I like going to abilitypath.org because I haven't yet come out to my family or to my friends about having a child with special needs. This provides me a community that I can be safe, that I can have a conversation with. On the business side, our advisors are saying, nobody knows what tomorrow's going to bring in this environment, so you don't necessarily want to dump everything into an unknown entity just yet and kind of lose control of some of that. So that's the reason why we're continuing to operate.
Today, if you were building this, would you build your own, or is there some kind of template or platform that you could create still the closed community that you're talking about?
I would say we would still build our own because we have a very unique niche market. So when you have a niche market, it's really easy to tailor something directly to their need states. I would say if your business or your organization has a broader target, a niche, you might want to explore what would be worthwhile. I will say that technology has advanced quickly, daily, yearly, and that's you'll see as a challenge, is keeping updated. We might have designed it a little differently with the newer platforms that have content management systems that have become a little bit easier to navigate. But at the time, Facebook wasn't the Facebook it is today. Twitter wasn't even a tweet. And we were really just talking about going from Web 1.0 to Web 2.0. Web 2.0 was the big, the big buzzword now about connecting people to content and each other. But now we know it's really social media. Social media, the word didn't exist then. And we really wanted to expand our footprint. This was a strategic direction of our board and our executive team for quite a while. But looking at growing a human services agency, which is really high touch, is very expensive. And so we wanted to know, how could we exponentially grow or exponentially share what we are doing here locally and what we know we're having success in? How can we share that with more families, especially as we were building this, and even today, state cuts are impacting our services, direct course services. And so it's impacting the families that we serve. And connection and access to information and services is important, critical during those critical times when you're trying to get your child to meet some critical developmental milestones, or when you have somebody exiting out of high school who has a developmental disability and trying to figure out what's next. Even if state funding is narrowing, you need to know what's happening. And so we realized this was an exponential way that we could grow our footprint without the brick and mortar costs. So that's why you'll hear this click and brick reference throughout the night.